Hello, happy May, everyone.
Hello.
2021 May. It's the 5th month.
It's almost mid-May.
Almost mid-May. Yes, this is a little bit late.
Yeah. So sorry. I fell ill for like about a week. I was under the weather. Not COVID kind of under the weather, but I was pretty out of commission. And so when that happens, everything just kind of gets pushed, Unfortunately, that means for the content. So we apologize for that. But we have been putting out a few videos lately.
Still keeping the pace.
Yeah, keeping the pace. May and June are still going to be pretty busy in terms of just things that we've committed to. But first, we do want to mention that we were on a couple of things aside from our channel. This past month, we did a Summoner Wars gameplay video on Watch It Played. So if you're interested in checking that out, we'll include a link in the description below.
And stay tuned for Wednesday this week on Watch It Played's channel. We will be having another video out. I don't know if we're supposed to say it yet.
We're supposed to say.
But it'll be there on Wednesday released.
And the other thing is we were also part of a collaboration on Tim Chuan's channel. He does a lot of cinematic board gaming reels and stuff like that. Really, really high quality editing and footage. And so he invited us to be a part of a collaboration where we talked about 3 ideas for new content creators who are just looking for things that haven't been done yet.
Right.
I think we may have accidentally mentioned something that have already been done.
Yeah.
But in addition to us, there were a few other content creators who are also part of it. So we'll also include a link to that video down below in case you'd like to hear what everybody had to say.
So since this vlog is a little bit late, we are asking for Q&A questions because next month, instead of doing a traditional vlog like we do, we're thinking about doing a Q&A session. And next month would mark our 2-year channelversary, so it's our 2-year anniversary of having the channel.
Made that up on the fly.
Yes,
it is our 2-year anniversary.
2-year anniversary of
making content.
Yes,
at the end of June.
So do not sort our videos by age because we've come a long way.
Yeah. Well, we are thinking about celebrating it in some way, shape, or form at the end of June. So in lieu of a traditional vlog, if you have any questions, this is an open call for them. Otherwise, we'll probably just try to get through the list of the other questions that were previously submitted.
Right.
And so for those of you who are members of our Patreon, unfortunately, the Shelf of Shame game is definitely late. It is coming very soon, this week, definitely. The fact that it's like a long, heavy, dense game to both film and edit, coupled with the fact that I had a week that I was out of commission. So.
Right.
But yes, it will be here very soon. So on to the main topic that we really wanted to discuss today, which is the content coming up on our channel. So we just kind of wrapped up the Architects trilogy, the West Kingdom trilogy, sorry.
Yes.
And we are going to have a final wrap-up video for it by the end of the week.
End of the week, yep.
And that will completely close it out. We did that one co-op scenario that we kind of did just randomly.
Yeah, when we first set out to do the game, I don't think we thought we were going to play a co-op. And we're like, okay, let's play this particular game co-op. We have been asked if we're going to do Paladins and Viscounts co-op. As of right now, we don't have plans for that, just because there's so many other games that we're trying to get to and other content that we'd like to do.
Yeah, maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future, yes.
But definitely not a part of this trilogy series, just because we do have some upcoming series that we have to start.
Yeah.
But the co-op mode was hard, so
I'm
really scared of what the other ones are going to be like. If Architects was that hard, but it was a good experience. Solid experience,
yes. Yeah. So that video will be coming out at the end of the week, which will wrap up the West Kingdom trilogy for us. This means that we have now moving on to our new series, which...
The Mindclash.
The Mindclash, yes. Monique is really excited about this.
We're actually going to be starting both the Mindclash as well as our Uwe Rosenberg series, which we've been putting off for so long. We're ready to begin. And so we're going to talk about how that's exactly going to work in a second. But first, if you're not familiar with Mindclash, they are a publisher. And the first time that we learned about them was through a game called Tricarion. And so Tricarion is a heavy Euro about magicians who are dueling, trying to put on the best show, trying to perform the best tricks and score the most points, essentially. But it is quite heavy, especially, considering a theme as fantastical as that, right? And ever since releasing Tricarion, they've published several other games, including Anachrony, Cerebria, Perseverance. They just announced a new one, a new 4X type game called, I think it's called Voidfall.
I think so, yeah.
The worlds that they design with are always so unique and creative and just really interesting, really intriguing.
Very different.
Yeah. They are a publisher who we really tried to follow ever since we started gaming, essentially, because that's kind of when Tricarion came out at the start of our
gaming adventures.
Experiences, I guess. And so the way that it's going to work is our gameplays are going to be with a teaching focus. We're going to be covering both Tricarion as well as Anachrony. And Tricarion has had a few expansions released over the years. We're probably going to do some sort of a base game plus Dalgard's Gifts or something like that.
Yeah, which is like a little mini expansion.
Yeah, for the first video. And then for the second video, we're going to do another with the newest expansion, the big Academy expansion. And the same with Anachrony, we're going to be doing 2 videos, one with the first, I think it's called Future Imperfect expansion, and the second one with the Fractures of Time. And so we just wanted to sort of form this introduction to the series during our vlog because we also wanted to communicate how much we look up to this publisher. Because even though it is a sponsored series, we are not going to be able to put a lot of opinion pieces in these specific videos.
Right.
It doesn't change how we feel about them. And Tricarion has been one of my favorite games of all time.
Since it first came out.
Since it first came out. We're just really excited to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Yes. So in preparation for the actual series, we're going to be putting out a reboxing video. If you have the big boxes of both Tricarion as well as Anachrony at home, we're just going to showcase, how to put your stuff back in the box and how it's kind of organized.
Those are those boxes that you saw at the very beginning of this video.
Yes,
so we will show you
massive.
exactly what goes where and how it actually organizes.
And if you just have the base game of Tricarion, or if you're just interested in the base game, you don't really need or want to go with the big boxes and stuff, we can show you how we used to organize our games, which is pretty cost effective, we think, right?
Totally.
So that'll be a video that'll probably go live the day before Tricarion goes out next week. And as for our Uwe Rosenberg series, we've decided to start with the tile laying games.
Right.
So typically we try to go in order.
Yeah, normally we go in chronological order from the very first game all the way up into the most recent. But for this particular series, we are, like Monique said, going to do the tile laying games. Now, in the tile laying games, we will go in chronological order as best as we can.
Yes. One of the main reasons why we wanted to do it this way, in addition to it just being easier to handle, I guess, is because we do want to do a comparison video amongst all the tile laying games, because there's the trilogy, the Cottage Garden, Indian Summer, and Spring Meadow, and there's also Patchwork, which is the one that everybody really loves so much. And so we kind of just wanted to be able to play them, showcasing like the differences amongst them all, right?
Exactly. Put them all together so it's fresher in the mind.
Yes. And then once both of those are done, both the Mindclash series as well as the tile laying, then we'll go into the big
Uwe Rosenberg games.
Rosenberg games like Agricola, etc.
Yep. Now moving on, last time we spoke, Monique was talking about a potential doing a top 10 or top 20 kind of
50.
Top 50 games, yes.
You're mistaken.
So we have decided, yes, we will do it. We are going to do it. I am using PubMeeple to help me kind of rank my games, and then I know it's not going to be perfect. I'm not going to go straight from what PubMeeple says, so I'll be making some minor adjustments. So now everything has been inputted.
Yes.
Now I actually have to go through the pairing matchup, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Thank you to everybody who I think we were kind of drawing a blank last time when we were talking about it, and people were like, "Oh, it's PubMeeple." So thank you so much for that. Also, thank you to Board Game Barrage, because they are the first people that we've actually heard this whole ranking system from, and so. Essentially, you put in your whole collection of games that you think are going to be your top 50 or top 100, and it basically has you go through a bunch of pairings where you're just like, do you prefer this one or this one?
It's just a bunch of head-to-head competition.
Yeah.
And over time, the algorithm basically starts dropping games that you've consistently said no to, and then starts pitting up the games that you consistently say yes to, and eventually it'll rank them all for you.
And as you can imagine, it's pretty time consuming.
Yeah.
So I think I had to do like 2,000 matchups or something. Wow. So I did it over the course of a week.
Yes.
My list is done. I'm just kind of waiting on Naveen.
So I've inputted everything into PubMeeple. Now I actually have to do the head-to-head matchups.
And that's the part that takes a long time.
So what I did was, because I'm so bad at remembering what games I've played, I've literally gone through the first 10,000 games on BGG.
Wow.
And any game that I have played or I'm like, that's potentially in my top 100, even though we're doing top 50, it's now on PubMeeple. So that, because sometimes there's games that are in your top 50 that you may not own.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go just input what our collection was. So I made sure I went and looked at the top 10,000 games on BGG. And so I'm working on it.
This is dedication.
I'm working on it.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. I went through like the top 3,000.
Yeah.
But it will be done soon, and we'll hopefully get it done before the big convention season, new release games comes out.
That's the goal, yeah.
Yeah, so somewhere towards the end of the summer, maybe. And if you remember our New Year's resolution at the start of the year, we were vowing to do all of our campaign games. I don't know why we chose to do this, but that's such a hard... That's a lot of replaying of the same game, if you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
And so to give you an update as to where we are, we have been putting a lot of content out, which means it's a lot harder to get that stuff kind of done on our free time.
Yep.
And so we have progressed the Codenames Duet campaign, and we've decided to stop it. We're not going to do it because we're really bad at it, is the problem.
Yeah, we communicate so well in all other games, but in this
Not
game,
that
we
one.
can't. We literally lost on the second turn the last time we played it. And then we were like, you know what? We're not going to do this anymore.
We're never gonna do any other games if we continue to try to do that. So we're scrapping that. We're gonna move on to a different campaign. I don't know which one yet.
Probably Pandemic. We got to wrap this thing up. Yeah.
Yes,
We have to wrap it up.
We need to wrap that up. He's promised to finally pick that one up again.
It's just, I don't remember the story. It's been so long since we last left off
daunting.
that I have to now go through what's January, February. What exactly is going even on in the game? I can't remember at all.
So we will try to pick that one up again, and we'll see how it goes. We would love to hear how you all have been doing now that we're almost to the halfway point in the year. Have you been working on those 10x10s or any other New Year's resolutions that you've had? Please let us know. And before we get to our favorite games of the month, we do have a slight announcement to make. Go ahead, Naveen.
I ask you at the beginning of every video, I'm not going to ask you anymore to turn on the Klingon subtitles.
We're doing away with them.
I just can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to go in there every time, but sometimes we get comments on videos from like 8 months ago saying that the timestamp at a certain period of time, and I just can't keep up with it to go back and figure out what exactly is going on.
You know, when we first started doing the Klingon subtitles, we had borrowed it from another, I think it was
From Rado.
Rado was doing it, and so we thought, oh, that's a good idea, because that's basically what we do. We do gameplays where you can't catch errors, until after the fact.
Right.
And we thought it would help, but ever since then we realized that it's actually a little bit more of a hindrance than really helping people. There are accessibility issues that people bring up, and we are not updating them the way that we should be in order for it to actually be functional.
Right.
And we also realized that the more videos we produce,
The more that burden comes on.
heavier that load is. And, recently, somebody got upset about the fact that we weren't updating it.
They were upset, and I was just like, I'm sorry, man.
We were unprofessional, so and we were like, okay, I guess that's true. So I think it would probably just be best to do away with them.
So if we do find out about things and I do have the time to go back, I will go into the description and try to clean it up there with maybe a couple asterisks and kind of letting you know what exactly we found out. But unfortunately, the Klingon.
Don't have to worry about that anymore. And finally, our favorite game of the month. So I think we both are hands down in agreement what our number one game was.
Yes, definitely.
So let's start with our runner-up.
Runner-up,
Yes,
okay. Do you want it
just
to
like
be
last time.
you? Or
You
me?
can go ahead. Go ahead.
Me?
You go
okay.
first.
Okay, so my runner-up is a game that we first played at PAX Unplugged back in 2019. And then
right.
couldn't get my hands on it for a long time. And we finally got to play it recently, earlier this month, with another friend of ours. It was his copy of the game. And this is Masters of Renaissance. It's like a dice. No, not even a dice.
It's like Lorenzo Il Magnifico, the card game.
The card game, yeah, exactly. So similar iconography, but it's completely different. It's not the same type of game.
I can see what they're getting at with it slightly being Lorenzo Il Magnifico light, but it's not close enough to really consider it that.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a super filler side game.
In Lorenzo Il Magnifico,
thing.
there's a lot of competition as to who goes to go in certain areas. In this game, the competition is mostly in can you acquire the cards before an opponent, as well as there's these marbles that kind of get manipulated, which grant you different resources. So there's an interesting a system for how you gain resources. And so sometimes you can get a little like tense, like you see a column that you really want to stay put. And, when other opponents are taking different marbles and manipulating the resource market, that's kind of the most tension for me in that game. So I really enjoyed that one. I did really well in it, so maybe that added to it.
He creamed us. He creamed us both.
Yeah, so that's my runner-up of the month, Lorenzo Il Magnifico. Sorry, not Lorenzo Il Magnifico, it's Masters of Renaissance.
Masters of Renaissance, yes. My runner-up is a game that we were able to play recently with a friend who we hadn't seen in over a year. Because now that he's fully vaccinated, we had a really, really, really good time. This is A Feast for Odin.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a spoiler. That's a game that's going to come like way later in our series.
Yeah.
But if you're not familiar with that game, that is a tile-laying game by Uwe Rosenberg that's not going to be a part of the first initial tile-laying mini part of our series.
Yeah, technically that's a tile-laying game, but this is a big box tile-laying game.
It's like Uwe Rosenberg's Magnum Opus or something.
Magnum Opus, yeah,
I
maybe.
don't know if that's a phrase.
Magnus, yeah.
Yeah, but it is a fantastic game. It's there's so much to do. I feel like it's pretty sandboxy.
It's a worker placement game where you have a menu.
Yes, you have a huge menu of things that you could do.
50 plus.
Your Vikings doing as Vikings do, and you're trying to cover your board. There's an abstract tiling part of it included with this big, chunky Euro game.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And we played with the Norwegians expansion. If you're familiar with that, it kind of changes the base game.
Yes.
It's not an expansion that adds mechanisms so much, but I think it kind of gives the game like a 1.5 feeling, like a 1.0 to a 2.0 kind of feeling.
Expands upon the base game.
Yeah.
And yeah, just such a good experience. Really, really love that game. That was my runner up, which means our number one game is Fantastic.
Yes.
So before we name what the game is, we just want to mention the environment that we were able to play this in. So we play tested this game with the designer, David Turksey, as well as two other content creators. And it's a 2 versus 2 asymmetric game. So if you're familiar with this, it was a game that was on Kickstarter earlier in the year, and it's called The Defense of Procyon 3.
Yes.
The premise is two people are playing as humans and the other two are playing as aliens.
Yes.
And so it's 2v2.
2v2.
But half of you, so one human, one alien, are fighting their battle in space.
Yes.
And the other half are fighting their battle on this planet on the ground, because I didn't really pick up on the story that much. All I remember is that half of us are playing on the ground and half in space. And there are two separate boards to indicate this.
Yes.
And it is so good. It is incredible. Mind-blowingly
it's really good.
Amazing. It's the best game that we played in quite some time,
a long
which
time,
is saying a lot because we've been playing a lot of really good games in the past year.
Yep. Everyone is asymmetric, but you have your teammate who, Monique and I were the aliens, so she was handling the space battle. I was on the ground. You can interact with each other slightly, like Monique could drop down like resources and kind of like she can help me out. I can help her out by building up structures and beaming it up into space.
Yes.
And then the humans have an ability to also help each other. You're basically fighting a war on two different fronts. There's a space battle and a ground combat basically.
And each player or each position plays differently. So if you are the alien in space, it's going to play very differently from the human in space or from the human on the ground. And like Naveen was saying, you can cooperate with each other. And I think that is
you have to cooperate with each other. Yeah.
And that's the coolest part, because like we're saying like, okay, what do you need, Naveen? I'm going to do this so I can set this up so that maybe on your turn you can do this. And it does have a few barriers of entry to the game, which may be things that you might have been thinking about if you had seen the Kickstarter when it was live. You know, there's going to be there's always that concern about, for an asymmetric game, how much do you need to know your opponent's rules?
So the designer was in the room with us, David Turksey, kind of basically facilitating the game. He would help us, kind of get through some of the nitty-gritty details. But the way he told us to kind of learn the game was, there's the main rule book, which is only about 6 pages long, not very long at all. Each character has their own rule book. So just study your own rule book, and in your own rule book, there's some information about your opponents. Don't worry about the nitty-gritty details. Don't sweat over it if it's your first game. And so now that we've played it, and now that we know the different things, it gets really, really interesting. So we're super excited to play it again.
The very first time you play it is going to be long. It's going to take several hours, and that's another barrier. That's probably the next biggest barrier. But it's amazing. Just hands down incredible. I highly suggest, if that sounds interesting to you at all, check it out, because it's coming out soon.
Well, that's all we have for this month, this vlog. Please let us know in the comments down below what your favorite gaming experience was of the month. We always like to read those.
We love reading those.
And also, because next month we are planning on doing a Q&A, if you do have any questions for us, leave those as well in the comments, and we will try to get to as many of those as we can on the next vlog video. And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, we're going to wrap it up here. Please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.